Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Sagittarius sun signs, or for those with significant Sagittarius placements in your chart and are needing a masculine energy to work with or balance within yourself. So Sagittarius, let's get started. I feel like Sagittarius, you're receiving something. It feels kind of like it may not be a physical object or something like that. It feels though kind of like either energy or like motivation or willpower or something like that in order to pursue something that you've been wanting to for a long time, but perhaps you haven't had the energy or the motivation or drive or whatever. It kind of feels like that sort of coming in for you. So it feels very energy based. But anyways, we'll get cards for you. That's sort of just like an intuitive download that I was receiving for you. I feel like this Leo season is also going to be very helpful for that for you, for Sagittarius, because you're both fire. Interesting. The Vanishing Mirror, Ego Sublimation, and the First Breath, Beginner's Mind. I'm not going to read the descriptions for these ones because it's... So the Vanishing Mirror talks about... it could be like an ego death. It doesn't have to be... Because sometimes that comes in with like... maybe being humbled a little bit by something. It doesn't have to be a negative experience. I'm actually kind of feeling like this is a very positive sort of ego death where maybe there was some form of identity that like, or it could be like identity or like a role that you play within certain relationships or all that. Like you play a certain role in your relationships where perhaps like you're like a caretaker or something like that. That's just an example. But that aspect is vanishing. It's shifting in some way because I feel like it was holding you back from something, right? Like it was like, there was an aspect of your ego, and I'm using ego in terms of like how you self-identify, like aspects of your identity, your roles, that kind of thing, like who you are, but not necessarily like the core aspect of who you are. It's more like the superficial aspects of who you are, maybe, or again, it feels like dynamics in relationships as well. That aspect of you is shifting and changing, and then what you have here is the first breath, right? Like almost being like reborn into a new aspect of yourself, or like seeing something. It could have to do with like seeing new possibilities, or even like your aspects of your identity are shifting and changing, or how you show up in relationships is shifting, and it's bringing about sort of like the first breath, right? Like more air to breathe, and having a beginner's mind, especially so that might be part of like there may be some sort of project or whatever, something that you want to pursue, that you have been wanting to pursue, but there was some aspect of your identity that was preventing that. Like, I can't do that because so-and-so reasons, right? So it could be like self-limiting beliefs as well, but it feels like you're breaking through that. There's like a breakthrough. It feels like, and you're going into beginner's mind, like starting fresh, it feels like. Okay, one more card. Oh, it's a surprise, Sagittarius. There's a surprise. Something surprising. Because I feel like maybe there was something where you were like, okay, we can't do this anymore. Like, I'm using, it feels kind of collective for you, Sagittarius. Or like, maybe you in a dynamic with others saying like, we can't do this anymore, or we can't keep doing this pattern or something like that. So I feel like maybe you made a decision for yourself, but that's also affecting other people in your life. So we can't do this anymore. We can't engage in this way anymore, that kind of thing. And it's breaking something down in order for there to be an expansion somewhere, right? I feel like it's actually causing an expansion in like multiple aspects of your life. Yeah, okay. The me talks. Repairing the body, mind, and spirit. So I feel like you're actually focusing on yourself at the moment. Because it's like, I feel like there are people... people are being affected by this choice that you're making. To focus on yourself, right? I would also pay attention to where there might be any sort of like pain within your body. Or if your body's sort of like clearing something out, it could have to do with like physical, like you may have like a physical sort of consequence of this, but if it's not that, it could just be like spiritually, emotionally, in whatever way, clearing something out of your body, whatever that is, or like your energetic body, your emotional body, all of that. So paying attention to like where there might actually be like pain, just to be conscious of that area, and perhaps like that's more of an area that should be focused on, is kind of how it's coming through, or like more care should be given to that aspect of your life. Eye of the needle, intentionality. I feel like you're getting, so again, it feels kind of like maybe a tool. I'm going to use that word to describe this energy that I'm feeling. But that's just a metaphor, right? Like a tool. It could be like a spiritual tool or like an emotional tool, like something that helps you to create something or to like, move forward or whatever. Or like to build whatever that is. I feel like you're receiving something of like a tool that's going to help you. It also just feels like finally identifying maybe a wound as well. You may be healing a wound with the me talks. Like repairing the body, mind, and spirit. You may be healing an aspect of that within yourself. And because of that, it's like you can see clearly what needs to change, right? Like, and that could be also part of the ego sublimation, because sometimes aspects of our identity can be formed from wounding, where it's like... as like a protection mechanism perhaps, or something like that. So I feel like you're identifying an aspect of like where there might have been wounding, right? Then focusing your energy on healing that. And in that process, it dissolves whatever aspect of your ego was perhaps preventing you from moving forward or preventing you from pursuing that project or whatever. And it's like starting again, but this card is so like a breath of relief, right? Like it's like finally this aspect is over, like that kind of thing. Okay. The empty room and the animal. That is so interesting. I feel like Sagittarius, there was an aspect of you that was feeling caged. Like restlessness, like needing to like move or needing to like again, it feels like having to break through something, right? Like could be like a self-limiting belief, or with the empty room, like feeling like there was something missing. Because this can sometimes come through as being like the space around you is empty. Like, so like perhaps needing to fill something, or like fill a void, or it does kind of feel like wound healing, right? Like there, or like not even knowing perhaps where the discomfort is or was, until you actually sort of like pinpoint it, right? Like you reach that sort of place where it's like, okay, there's the issue, or there's the that kind of, anyway. So this both of these cards coming out together is kind of feeling like a desire to like be free from something, with that sort of like caged animal kind of feeling. But it's feeling much calmer now. Like it's like, okay, out of the cage. We're out of the cage. We're like free from the cage. And perhaps just taking time to sort of heal that, because maybe there was like maybe you fought your way out of something, and now it's like, okay, taking a breath, tending to your wounds in whatever way that is for you, and making sure to like do all the repairs, or like clean something up, or renew yourself or refresh yourself. The underworld and the poet. That's so interesting. So I feel like you got out of the underworld, and then you have Eros at the bottom of the deck. This is sort of like passion. And so it could be sacral chakra related. It could be, again, like your physical body feels like it's being highlighted here in whatever way that is. So paying attention to any sort of like pain in your physical body. But anyways, the underworld, it kind of feels like you've actually got out of this place, or you're in the process of that. Because this can be sort of like being in the shadow, facing your fears, submerging into something that's like really, really uncomfortable in whatever way that is. I feel like part of the repairing or healing process here with the poet is to actually transform that experience. Because the poet card to me represents sort of like one who actually goes into darkness in order to transform it, or to find meaning in something, or find inspiration. It could be that, Sagittarius, there was an aspect of you that was perhaps rebelling from expectations, maybe. Because I was kind of getting this energy, like before I pulled the cards, of like, I wanted to use this deck because I was seeing the box card in this deck, which is kind of coming through as like with the empty room, like well, now it's looking like a maze, like being stuck in a maze, or having to like sort of like go through all of these expectations. And it's like perhaps this has been a very, very long process for you, because it just feels like it's never ending. And it's like It's almost like I feel like it's going inward, actually, though. It's not an outward. Well, maybe. I don't know. which direction it's going in. But it's kind of like you reach the center, and at the center is this empty room and the animal. Like something within you that wanted to be free. So this could be an aspect of yourself, like something within you that wanted to be free. And it's breaking through all of these expectations now. But you had to go into the underworld in order to get it. So I feel like that aspect of you is now going through a healing. And it's also talking about like, because the poet to me is very like, it is sort of like coming through as like a mystic or an alchemist kind of energy, like transforming something, like transforming a really sort of dark or difficult experience, but using sort of like your expressiveness, right? Like expressing a dark and difficult time in your life, maybe transforming it and healing from that experience through your expression, whatever that is, however that applies to you. I actually feel like there are energies on the outside of you, like external to you, that are because I'm seeing almost like these figures here in the background. They're kind of waiting for you to emerge, Sagittarius, like waiting for you to like share your story or something like that. And it's kind of like, take your time with this. They're waiting for like the bard to start singing. That's kind of how it's coming through. But it's like, take your time. Part of the healing might just be for you as well. Like, I do feel, though, that there will be sort of a desire to share what it is that you have gone through, or, like, whatever it is that you're creating at the moment, if you are. I feel like there will be a desire to sort of bring that out into the open, however that unfolds for you, like, wanting to share that. But you may be just sort of, like, sitting in it for yourself at the moment. Like, just holding it for yourself before anyone else sees it, before anyone else interacts with it. It's like, for right now, it's yours. The Queen of Rings. This is the Queen of Pentacles. Oh, that's such a sweet card. This is such a sweet card. I actually feel like that's hold on. I'm gonna get more cards before I say what I feel like that's talking about. Yeah, interesting. Seven of Swords and the King of Rings. I was just thinking about this card because, okay, so I'm going to pull more cards as well, but I'm going to start with what I see here. We have the Queen of Rings, and then underneath that, the Seven of Swords and the King of Rings. So this is actually coming through with being like, because these are pentacles in this deck, this is such a mismatch. It's just, okay, so I feel like this is sort of like you before is kind of how I'm seeing this, Sagittarius. so sweet. I don't know how other way to describe this. Like, very sweet, very kind, very giving, very nurturing. But I feel like this was an expectation of you, of being a caregiver to others, like taking care of other people around you, with the Queen of Pentacles. Because underneath that, and it could be coming from somebody around you with the King of Rings and the Seven of Swords. The King of Rings, this card is one of the more difficult cards in this deck. It talks about like someone who is deceptive in whatever way. Like, there could be somebody around you who is like deceptive, or I feel like they have a lot of expectations of you. I feel like they're trying to confuse you in some way. Like, trying to, like, I feel like there's some expectations that they're placing on you that are trying to keep you contained in whatever way that is. Like, they perhaps they want power over you or something like that. It's like with the caged animal, it's feeling very restrictive in whatever way that is. It really is not a match. Well, that's the thing. I actually feel like there's an energy here that's trying to keep you small, is how it's feeling. Like they are trying to perhaps even tell you who you are, or like Sagittarius was so sweet and kind before, right? Sagittarius used to be such like a kind, loving, whatever, you know, that kind of thing. It could be gaslighting as well. Like, they're saying, like, especially if you're going through healing, if you're going through healing, and so that obviously changes some aspect of like who you are, or like how you interact with people, that kind of thing. And you may be going through some sort of like identity shift as well, where, anyways, it feels like there's somebody here who, like, seeing how this one tried to like either manipulate or control that perhaps wound that you had. Like, they're trying to control you, maybe, or like the dynamic or the power imbalance that there might be by manipulating a wound that they know is a wound of yours, right? It's like they know that you're like this because of a wound. And so it actually feels very much like I'm going to use past tense because I feel like you're breaking through this right now. It feels like power or control that they're trying to gain over you by like targeting your wound is how it's coming through. And it's kind of, it's feeling like they may be quote unquote gaslighting, like, oh, Sagittarius used to be so kind. They used to be so sweet. Trying to get you back into that place where, I'm not saying that you're not that anymore, Sagittarius, but you're not that towards this person, whoever this person is, because this person had tried to use or manipulate perhaps this connection in order to gain something from you. Because what you're coming out here next with the High Priestess, so much power. I feel like this is part of your power, actually, that was trying to be contained by whoever this King of Rings is. They're trying to contain your power. I feel like it has something to do with, like, I'm actually seeing this as being, like, this is such an interesting card. Someone who has learned from a mistake, perhaps in the past. It does feel like someone who's gone through healing and has gained wisdom from that. With the Nine of Swords as well, it's like being able to see, because this Nine of Swords to me actually has been coming through as being like, there are 3 swords, right? The 3 of Swords, the heartbreak, the wound, the whatever word you want to put there. There's the 3 of Swords that actually has been preventing you from moving forward with the 6 of Swords. There's been some sort of wound or injury that's been preventing you from moving forward. And it's like identifying what that is, like taking out the swords from whatever that aspect is, and it frees some aspect of your power. Actually, it's almost like there was like a wound that was keeping your power contained. Or if it's not power, it could be like your knowingness, like what you know, your intuition, your wisdom, your gifts. Six of Cups. And the Two of Cups. Interesting. The Ace of Rings, the Ace of Pentacles. That's so interesting. I feel like you found what you were looking for. The Ace of Rings. And with the Nine of Cups coming out on top of that, it's like some aspect of like what actually satisfies you, or like what brings you happiness. Because I feel like maybe there was an aspect of you that was like sort of seeking that from other relationships with the Six of Cups, Two of Cups, like perhaps sort of like with, especially with sort of someone who's very nurturing or caregiving, like that can be absolutely very fulfilling. I'm not saying that that's not sort of meant for you or whatever, right? It just feels like, so I feel like that is part of your power still, right? I'm not diminishing that aspect. You are very caregiving. You are very kind. You are very sweet, and you do nurture all of your relationships. The problem became when someone tried to take advantage of that aspect of you. So it's kind of like there's a breakthrough in terms of like perhaps being more discerning, because I'm seeing this as being like 5 out of, or like one of the 6 cups is knocked over. Appropriate ways in which to nurture and give to others, because I feel like there's one energy here that like you should not be giving to. You should not be nurturing that relationship. I feel like you know that already, or it's going to be made clear to you. Because they want to, I don't know, I don't know exactly what it is. I don't even want to go into that energy at the moment. I feel like they have their eye on you in some way. It's also kind of coming through as being like, okay, you went to the underworld, perhaps within yourself as well, to understand with the Nine of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles, like what it is that you actually desire, what it is that you actually want to pursue, what actually brings you satisfaction, what is a wish fulfillment for you, what you actually want to put your energy towards, that kind of thing. And it's so interesting. I feel like you are, again, this could be sort of like having a new intention or a new purpose, because it's being sort of like connected to this, right? It feels like a new intention or like a wish being granted for you because you found this sort of Nine of Cups energy within yourself. Like emotionally, it feels like you're very stable and taking care of yourself. And it feels like so this is sort of like, I don't want to use the word, it feels like an added consequence or like a bonus consequence of you being very emotionally stable. It's like, or like emotionally strong within yourself. It's that you also receive like a blessing is how it's coming through. Perhaps very physically with the Ace of Pentacles. Like you may have actually received something, or you will be, that is very physical, that actually has some sort of like either like destiny or purpose attached to it. It's like it was meant for you. This was sort of being held on by the universe, it feels like, until you reach this point in your life with the Nine of Cups, where it's like emotionally very secure in whatever it is that you're like engaging in. It was waiting for, like the universe was waiting for you to get to this point in order to give you this Ace of Pentacles, is how it's feeling to me. There's another thing here though, because now it's like, now you have here the Fool card and the Knight of Rings. Because, so the Knight of Pentacles, which is interesting. It kind of feels like maybe with the Queen of Rings into the Knight, again, the rings here are pentacles, but it's coming through as being like a new cycle. Because in a certain way, I do feel that there is sort of like a step down in some aspect of your life. Again, it does feel it was coming through as the word humbling. So there's kind of like that energy where it's like maybe there is an aspect of like one aspect of your identity that's going through a shift. I feel like because it's like requiring movement here with the Knight of Pentacles and the Fool, right? Like starting again. It's interesting though that the Knight of Pentacles is sort of looking back. And it's because of this energy here. It's kind of like whatever it is that you have now, this Ace of Pentacles, there's somebody around you that wants that, is kind of how it's coming through. They want what you have. It could be sort of like this past dynamic where it's like they're trying to catch up to you. They're trying to could be that they're trying to catch up to you, or they're trying to like slow you down or pull you back because they want what you have or what you've gained from this experience. Knight of Swords. Three of Wands, Four of Wands, and the Seven of Pentacles. So it's kind of coming through like this. There may be multiple energies that want what you have. Not all of them are positive, but I want to say that some of them are. So it's kind of like some of them are like your fellowship, right? They're going to help you with whatever this is. They're support energies. They're meant to journey this part of the path with you. There are some that are like that. That's how I'm seeing this Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. They're allies. They're your fellowship, right? They have the same perhaps purpose or destination or intention as you. So there are some that are like that. But there is also one that, one or multiple that feel like they're, they may sort of seem like they are on the same path as you, but it's really that they want what you have. So just keeping that in mind. There are others who won't try and take this thing from you. They just want to be beside you, right? So being able to discern the difference between those energies. Ones that just want to walk beside you, you know, they're your friends, they want to support you, they're your fellowship. But there are others that just want whatever it is that you have, whatever it is that you've gained. They just want to take from you. I feel like so being conscious of that, because depending on your energy, those can get confused, right? Like there are, it can be confusing to sort of tell the difference between that. I feel like that's part of your next, that's part of your next challenge, maybe, is like, being able to tell who's a friend and who's a foe. I am feeling, though, that very much that you're protected, Sagittarius. Yeah. 3 of Pentacles and 7 of Wands. You have 777 in this reading today. I feel like you have a lot of protection. I feel like there are specifically like 2 others that are very much like reliable energies for you. Like they're coming out, like you have 2 knights. You have 2 knights and 1 golem. There are 2 energies that are extremely reliable. One's coming out with pentacles, the other with swords. So one might be very earthy, the other one more air. But you know that's relative, or that's not super important. That could just be the way that you engage with them. Like one sort of like more of a messenger, the other is very stable, like a very stable, reliable presence. Could be that as well. Because I feel like the energy of 3 is actually coming through, like you and 2 others. But there may be like more than that, more energies around you that are sort of either like not trustworthy, or that you're actually being protected from them. So just being aware of that. Hold on, what time? Okay. Yeah, the Emperor and the Star. Okay. I feel like there's, you're being protected. This is an energy of protection. The Star. Protection from harm. It also, it's protection from harm. I feel like there may be a masculine energy that's sort of assisting in that process. That may also be an aspect of yourself as well. So just keep that in mind. You're being protected from harm. There may also, Sagittarius, be an aspect of yourself here that almost wants to reject that. Like, I don't need protection. I don't need that kind of thing. That might be part of the ego death as well, right? Like, it's like, you don't always have to be, I feel like this energy of protection is one that you can trust, is how I should phrase it. This energy of protection is one that you can trust. There's a fine line here, because I feel like there was a dynamic where someone was trying to quote unquote protect you, but they were actually trying to control, right? There's another aspect here that wants to protect you, but also allowing you to determine the path, right? There's no element of control here. That's sort of how it's coming through, because this is how it feels with the two energies. Like, one that you can't trust, because this feels like a past energy, one that you are already aware of. This is perhaps like a past dynamic where you have actually left this situation, is how it's feeling to me. You've left this situation. You already know who and what this is. We're trying to control. This feels more new, or if it's not new, it's like if it's somebody that you know already, but the dynamic may be new, or something like that. They're coming out with the star. They want to protect, but not control. There's still freedom in this, right? Like this star card is one that's sort of just like, it's something that's given from love, right? Like a gift of protection maybe that is given from love. So just being aware of that, Sagittarius, because I feel like there may be like an energy here of like resisting this dynamic, right? Like a really like, so it could be masculine energy, or one that's like very sort of protective, like feeling like wanting to reject that because it feels similar to this, but it's not that. This one was from power. This one is out of love. Right? It's like being able to discern the difference between these two. Yeah. The Devil and the Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. I feel like that's something that you're overcoming, Sagittarius. Like, you're overcoming some sort of pattern of heartbreak, it feels like. Overcoming a pattern of heartbreak where it's like maybe people try to take advantage of you, or like take advantage of your kindness. But I feel like you have support here that's trying to help you to change that pattern and to not reject that. It's just it's a matter though of like, because I feel like those energies might be, at the beginning, sort of difficult to sort out. The Emperor and the Knight of Pentacles are the same. Whoever the Knight of Pentacles is for you is the Emperor. They're extremely reliable. And they don't rush, right? They move slowly. If someone's trying to like rush you into something, that's the devil energy. That's the foe. They're trying to rush you. I feel like the Knight of Pentacles like is extremely reliable. They don't act unless they're sure. Very steady. Also, like, knows who they are. This Knight of Swords as well, I feel like is kind of like, there's a Knight of Swords here that, so they could be sort of like a messenger. I feel like they're a bit less predictable, but in a good way. I feel like they actually are watching your back. I feel like you have an eye on the Emperor, but there's a Knight of... Oh, sorry. That's a King of Swords. Interesting. That's a King of Swords. Sorry. They're washing your back. Interesting. You might perceive them as a Knight of Swords, but they're actually a king. It's almost like somebody who like pretends to be... I feel like this person's humble. They perhaps like when they first meet someone, they introduce themselves as like just some regular old person, but they're actually a king. It's kind of coming through like that. The way that they introduce themselves to you might actually be less like, so I don't want to say that it's deceptive. It's just more so that they humble themselves before approaching you. That's how it's coming through. They humble their power before approaching you. Perhaps so that it's less sort of like intense, maybe. So that energy feels very humble as well. But they're a king. Okay, I'm just gonna pull one more card to end this reading. Dragon power. What was I saying? Sagittarius, you have reclaimed some aspect of your power. And to the guardians of the land, protection. You have so much protection here and power. Look at all this strength. That's amazing. Okay, Sagittarius, I'm gonna leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.